So I was out at the store.
Yeah.
And I got in this argument with this lady, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, man, don't hit me with your car. And I was like,
What?
So you were
wait. Had you already hit her with the car, or was she telling you, for future reference, don't hit her with the car?
I don't really remember. It was a while ago. But
You said it was like a couple days ago.
Yeah, wait.
So it was yesterday, right?
I have a really bad memory.
Oh, okay.
You know this.
Story's not lining up here.
All right, so you hit her with the car,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Stop it."
And I was
What'd
like,
you
but
say?
I have to do it.
Why?
Because she irritated me.
So that's what you do with people that irritate you?
Basically.
Okay.
I lose my cool,
Yeah.
Chipper.
You
But
take things out.
And then she said, and I was
What'd she say?
she said, okay.
Oh, what'd you say to that?
I was like, all right, good. Glad we got this figured out.
And then what'd you do?
And I
Did you hit her with a car again?
Come on, I was feeding you the breadcrumbs, man.
no, it did happen.
So you did hit her again.
Yeah, unfortunately. That's how I racked up like 10 years behind bars.
Why are you here? All right, that's enough of that. Welcome back to the grand return of the Stacked Podcast, the proper Stacked Podcast. Yeah, sorry, your dad's not one of the main three. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah,
He's a great guy. I loved having him on, but he's no Chris. I'm sure he understands. Sean, if you're listening, you're no Chris, but that's okay because I think you're great.
Hi, Mr. Winchester.
Sean.
Sean.
All right.
For names only.
We got a big episode for y'all here. We got a big cast. Oh my god. We got a lot of people here.
We have
Yeah.
a peanut gallery.
Hey, isn't that, you can't say that anymore?
You
right?
can't say
What
that
does that
anymore.
mean?
Is it? There's like,
Dude.
there's like a racist history behind that.
Yeah.
Wait, the
And-
Peanuts movie?
And you just called Justin the Peanut Gallery.
I didn't know that.
Justin.
It's an
It's
honor,
an
actually.
honor.
Wow.
All right. Well, yeah, we got Justin here. He's going to be in the back.
Can we just say
Make
nut
us-
gallery? Is that
The Nut Gallery.
Oh, that's much better.
Don't tempt him. Got Justin here making his debut. We got Angelica here
Woo!
making her
Hello.
debut on the pod. And then we got Joey here in his throne.
Hello.
He's
I'm
back.
here in my thinking chair.
He's back. And then we got the sound whiz herself, Tori. She's mixing it all for us because we're all in person. We're all in the same room. And she's going to hold this all together.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
She
We'll
said
see.
already things have gone wrong with your mixing.
Dude,
You are a little. You're getting some plosives over there, Ethan.
am I getting too close?
Yeah, don't into your mic so much.
Oh, really? All right.
Amateur.
Nope.
There's
you-
good. There's good. There's
Wow,
a good
the
mic.
man who's been
We
Go
Go
through the
criticizing
whole
us.
podcast.
This is
without
why we
saying
don't.
any
This is why we don't
peas.
talk about the peanut gallery. I'll watch my keys. That's hard. Try to not like say. Peas.
Well, that's why you got to keep the mic far away from you.
That's what I'm doing.
No, it's pretty close to you.
It's more. Look,
He's got one trumpet. He's
Yeah,
holding in front of his
whole
mouth.
trumpet's length.
A driving crooner.
I got one
One
cigar.
One-
I'm crooning over here.
That's honestly a great amount of space to go for.
Imagine you're the driving crooner. All right, we got a big episode today.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Why?
Why? Why are we here? Why are we doing this?
Whose idea was this?
It was my idea, so I'll tell you why.
Oh,
This evening, we are going to see the movie Bottoms because we live in LA and it plays here this weekend. But I think when this episode comes out, it'll be everywhere around the globe.
Should be.
I don't know around the globe, around the states.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's all the globe we need, right?
and we're very excited for this movie.
All right, American.
I think it looks really funny. But I don't want to talk about it more because it might hype up Tori too much and she might hate the movie. So
That's how that usually goes.
Okay.
calling you out here. All right. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about high school movies. Movies about what? I think high
We're
school's
talking about
funny.
movies.
This is new ground for
It
him.
sound like you're agreeing to the topic. Okay.
Mm.
All right.
All right.
I'm just trying
I'll
to
do
give it
that.
color, man.
I'm in.
I am showing through a non-visual medium that I am paying attention.
This is good because usually you don't. Usually you just get up and leave.
I do not.
That
That is bullshit.
it's
Let's get into
my
this.
word against yours. Okay, yeah, let's get into this. Thank you for hosting the show.
Let's do this.
All right, we're talking about high school movies. Before we go to picks, I want to just get a quick thing around like how we feel about high school movies.
or high school in general.
Or just what makes a good high school movie? Let's start with you. We'll go clockwise.
I love high school movies. I think anyone who follows me on Letterboxd or know my taste in movies, I'm very I definitely have a soft spot for coming of age films, and I think high school is just some of the most formative years of our lives, and I just think that makes for a really good film. So I think what I look for in a good high school movie, when I think of like high school and what it meant for me, it was like a time when I was like longing for more independence.
Yeah.
But you're still living under your parents' roof. And I think that creates really good tension. So I think a good high school movie for me are about characters who are, you know, trying to carve their own path in life.
Trying to break free.
Exactly.
You know?
Trying to break free. In the words
That's
of
good.
the late George Michael. So,
Yeah. Rest in peace.
yeah.
Brandon, quickly, what do you think makes a great high school movie? Anything else you want to add? Okay,
The
Chris.
pressure's on, you know.
Does
Chris,
anybody have anything else to contribute? So I don't have to go around and no one has an answer.
I mean, there's exaggerated high school movies, and then there's ones that are more like grounded. Like, I feel like my biggest problem with modern high school movies sometimes is like they feel like they are not meant to, like, they're not made by people who were in high school recently, so they don't really capture the time.
Yeah.
And at least some classics from the 80s, I feel like there are some that do a really good job at capturing how teens speak, and then there's some, and like act, and then there's some that are like, it feels like it was made by a bunch of like 40-year-olds who, or 50-year-olds who used to go to high school and they don't know
Sure.
the lingo or anything like that. And they're trying too hard, you know?
Yeah. I'm sure one film that we're going to talk about tonight, they delve into the high school experience like really deep in terms of like figuring out how to make it. We'll talk about it later. I'm sure we'll talk
Are
about
we?
it later.
Are we?
What do you mean?
Are you sure?
I mean, I'm probably going to bring it up. If
Oh.
not me, then he's going to bring it up. So,
Oh.
and I'm, for the listeners, they don't know who that he is. So isn't that cool? It's a mystery. Anyways,
What
Chris.
a vague description you just gave us.
Yeah, right?
That could be any movie.
It could be any movie.
That is very,
Yeah.
that's like any high school movie.
Exactly. So I can't wait for you all to find out which one it is.
And we never talk about the movie.
Maybe. Chris.
Yeah. For me, I feel like with high school movies, the thing that makes or breaks it is how well they're able to capture like the authentic setting of high school, in the sense of like the students and how they interact with each other,
Yeah.
the kind of issues that the storylines that they have to go about, you know, kids going through puberty, dealing with school, college applications, what have you. So I think there's a lot there, but I feel like what separates the good high school movies from the bad is how well they're able to articulate that time in people's lives, because
Yeah.
sometimes, like Brandon said, it can come off very inauthentic.
Oh, yeah.
And I think there's been a handful of good ones and a big handful of bad ones, but hopefully we'll find some really good ones today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Angelica, what do you think is like quintessential for a high school movie for you? Is there like something you can think of in high school movies you're just like, oh, because I feel like there's lots of tropes and cliches in the high school movie, but sometimes they like really work. You know what I mean?
One thing that I've noticed about high school movies is that they usually have like older cast members.
Yes.
That just do
Netflix
not
is
look
very
like
guilty
high
of this.
school students.
Netflix and like the 90s too, I
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah.
Especially the older ones.
Yeah. So when they're like when they're actual kids, you're like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I can get behind this. Yeah. Tori.
Yeah.
Well,
What do you think?
to that point, something I read recently that I thought was interesting is even if they were younger actors, we see them in the outfits and with the stuff that we associate with older generations. So because they're dressed old to
Oh.
us, or they're doing their makeup old
presented
to
as-
us,
Because you're like, oh, that's how my
Yeah.
we
parents
think
used to
they're
dress.
old. Exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's an interesting phenomenon. But beyond that, what I like about high school movies as someone that's super into sex and film is I think a lot of sexual coming of age stories come in.
Oh,
Because
definitely.
that's when
Especially
it
this era.
develops. That's when
Exactly.
that's a big time for
Yeah.
us.
That's
Yeah.
the puberty kitchen.
And what's also interesting.
The kitchen.
The kitchen.
That's when it's cooking up.
Something's cooking in the puberty kitchen.
He's cooking.
What
Okay.
also
Let him
works
cook.
for me in high school movies is I think it's a great format to tell stories because when you're in high school, everything's the end of the world.
Literally.
Yes.
So
And
The
smallest
stakes are
things still,
always
I think,
so
mean everything.
high. Yeah.
Even when it's like nothing. Like
Yeah.
you look back on high school drama now. I don't know if anybody was part of anything here.
No,
Could get into
Teen?
stories. I don't know, but
Drama?
Yeah. I mean, but like,
Ooh,
the
this
like
one
the
is-
drama
this
I
is
had with the
interesting.
best friend.
I kind of like that.
Crushing.
Yeah.
It was like it ruined like the last 2 weeks of my senior year.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, and then we made up after. It was great.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you look back now and it's like that was so silly?
Yeah, like why were we arguing?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Got a few of those, I guess. Let's talk about some movies, shall we?
No.
I have a place we could start.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's
there.
start with John Hughes.
Yeah, we got it.
We have
Yeah,
to.
let's get
You
him
got
out of
it.
the way.
We have to get them out of
Let's
the
get
way.
him out of the
Which
way.
one?
That's the question.
That's
What's the one you're gonna pick?
I step back. That's
No,
all I wanted
no.
to pitch.
No, you gotta start us off.
You
Tori.
gotta pick which one.
Well, my favorite is Ferris Bueller.
All right.
All right, I'm in that movie.
Yeah. So they're very relatable to
Okay.
you because you're literally in that movie.
Yeah, I'm not wealthy though, like Cameron.
I mean. Okay. I was gonna say. I don't know.
What were you gonna say? Yeah,
I was gonna say. I was gonna bring up that one time where you said that you make more money than me at BJ's.
that's still true.
It's actually even more true.
Yeah.
It's even more true
Yeah,
now.
it's okay.
Cool. All
Okay,
right.
it's okay for you.
Yeah, you're nice. Oh, things are great for you.
No.
You, Joey.
John Hughes.
Mr. John Hughes.
I know you. This is one of your favorite movies ever. So
Yeah,
literally-
obviously we got to start with you.
He's literally
I-
dressed for like a John Hughes.
Here's the interesting thing about Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Yeah, it is one of my favorite movies of all time, and the characters are high schoolers, and it does kind of deal with. There's like a scene in that movie where Ferris is kind of talking about what's next in life, and he and Cameron are about to graduate, about to go to different schools. His girlfriend is a year behind, so she's staying behind, and like
Yeah.
kind of like that idea of change. And that movie's all about the philosophy of that film is really what draws me to it, and that's this idea of really living in the moment and making the most of every day.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that at that where the characters are at in their high school careers is really important. Just because they're thinking about the future and whatnot, and it's easy to look nothing but ahead, but I think that movie teaches us to really just live in the present and enjoy this moment. That's right
Yeah.
in front of
Which
us.
is kind of ironic considering I think a lot of his other movies are, I think 16 Candles is kind of in the past, you know. I feel like it's like looking back at when you were younger, you know, it's like that the prime of adolescence, whereas like Breakfast Club is very much living in the present, and then Ferris Bueller is looking towards the future. I think he's got all three covered there.
Whoa. Temporality within John Hughes. Write a paper on that. That's actually cool.
No.
Okay. You could though. That was a good thesis. I'm just saying.
No, it's interesting because like 16 Candles, it's like so obsessed with reaching that age and then like the younger aspects of that generation.
Yeah.
Whereas Breakfast Club, it's like you are living and stuck in this library with these kids who are like frozen in time almost because there's nothing going on around them. They're in detention.
Yeah.
And then Ferris Bueller, like
Is
it
breaking
it
free.
is living in the moment, but it's breaking free of like the school aspect they ditch, you know.
Yeah.
So
And I really wish I took up those lessons when I was
Of
in high
ditching?
school. Of just like I don't know, living in the moment. I was like, when I was in high school, I'd like come back and like sleep for most of the day. You know what I mean?
Oh, I went through that phase too.
I would sleep for like 2 hours and then I'd have my dinner,
Have
and
dinner,
do my homework,
do homework, go back to bed.
and go back to
Exactly.
bed.
Yeah.
oh,
And I didn't like I don't know. I
did
didn't
you do that in middle school?
No,
Only high
middle
school
school
for
was
me
easy.
too.
I was the king of middle school. So I didn't do middle school movies.
That is one of the things that, because like we always say, like a lot of us always say that middle school sucked for us and high school was much better. But you were the opposite.
I
You said.
love middle school. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Yeah, Ferris Bueller, good movie about living in the moment.
Mhm.
Anybody else got? What do you got?
I mean, yeah, with John Hughes, I love Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Actually, confession, I've never seen Ferris Bueller all the way through. I've only seen clips of it. I've never sat down and watched the whole thing.
We watched it,
No,
but we didn't finish
We
it.
didn't finish it because it was
In Joshua
way too
Tree.
late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ferris Bueller Best Moments compilation is what you.
I've
said.
seen the museum scene. There's a parade and the opening when he's in bed. That's all I remember.
I mean, pretty iconic, you know.
Oh, it is very iconic.
I feel like a lot of people like piece together their idea of what a movie is, like if it's like culturally significant and they haven't seen it,
Yeah.
based on like those few iconic moments, and I kind of find
Yeah.
that interesting.
No, yeah,
what,
totally.
what Frankenstein movie are you expecting from it?
I mean, Joey has already. I mean, I've heard so many people talk about this movie, so I feel like thematically I'm kind of in the know about
Yeah.
what's going on. But I really love that message. It's very Lebowski of Ferris in a way. You know what I
It
mean?
is. He is kind of like a young Lebowski.
Well, fun fact, I hate to get sappy, but before Tori and I dated, in our senior quote, both of our senior quotes were
Ferris
life
Bueller.
moves pretty fast if you don't stop to look around once in a while.
Oh, that's
You might
sweet.
miss it.
Before we even started dating. Isn't that crazy?
Did you guys knew each other though, right?
We knew each other. We
You guys didn't
like,
plan
but
that,
we
did
were
you?
just
We
we were
did not
distant
plan.
friends. We were distant friends.
We just
That
went
was-
to a summer camp together, right?
Literally,
Distant
that was it.
friends, star-crossed lovers.
really
Wow.
was.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Well,
that,
you're not
that movie's a
star-crossed
big one for us.
Does everybody remember their senior quotes?
I didn't get one. My school didn't do
I think I
it.
used the Martin Luther
There
King
you
quote or
go.
some shit.
You did Martin Luther King.
I had like my own little.
I
thing,
had
and
a
I'm
drink.
okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was. Something about altruism or whatever.
Oh. Ange, do you remember your senior quote?
I did not have one.
You didn't have one? What the? Why didn't you have them?
This, my school would like have to screen them all, and they didn't want to do that. They wanted to keep their yearbooks more professional.
Oh no, yeah.
Because they were going for like they were going for awards. Like my yearbook, I was in yearbook.
They have the
awards.
high- the
Yeah,
high
there are
papers and
yearbook
all that
awards.
shit?
Yeah, every year we
Oh.
won like a major yearbook award, and they wanted to keep it like professional and
Oh, I
thematically
see.
relevant and stuff like that. I can show you
My-
sometime.
No, yeah, my school had a very extensive screening process. There were
Are
like
you
2 rounds
serious?
of screenings for each one. Someone got one through though.
Yeah.
They wrote getting up is the second hardest thing in the morning.
Hey,
Yeah.
Justin likes that one.
Yeah, Justin, I see Justin with a big
The
smile.
silent-
Get a word from Justin.
What do you think, Justin?
Silent
Justin, what
hours.
was your senior quote?
We didn't have one.
When I worked on the school yearbook, I turned in all my pages,
Mhm.
and then right before printing, I'd go in and change them all.
Wow.
So there's
Wow.
actually, on every page that I worked on, there's a little PNG of me as Batman somewhere.
That's
And I-
legendary.
That's
And
great.
I even worked on like things where it was just like the students' pictures and nothing else.
Did it,
And I snuck a Batman.
no one ever
for it.
caught you or anything?
Nah, I had never gotten in
You
trouble
got away
for
with it,
anything,
nice.
but it's all there. 8th grade, yeah. And that's why I ruled in middle school.
Only
My
once.
quote was so dumb.
What was yours?
It was, "I'm Ant-Man." I know it wasn't my idea. That was my quote, and I hate it. And I hate that I picked that
That
one.
was it.
That
That
kind of
was it.
signifies your high school experience. Though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
I-
kind of ick.
Isn't it? That
Why
was-
can't
it's
can high school
stupid.
quotes?
It was so
Can you quote
stupid.
yourself?
Yeah, you can quote anybody.
I didn't know. I don't know how it works.
You could
Well,
put
clearly, you know
55
how
burgers, 55
yearbooks work
fries.
way more than me. I didn't know there was a competition.
Oh, I don't know about quotes though. You can fill in that lost knowledge.
That's true, but I won't. Let's move on to another movie, shall we?
Okay.
Anyone got another good one to bounce off? Yeah, you.
Well, it's okay. So, I think a lot in movies we look at the coming of age movie as like a primary example of. It's comedy. It's very easy to capture the essence of change because that's the conflict of the movie.
yeah.
But I feel like we don't give a lot of not flack, a lot of recognition to like documentaries.
Oh,
So there's a documentary from the late 1960s that is a lot like actually something like Apollo 11.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
called High School.
It's
Yeah.
High School.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
What did
I've seen
what
it.
class did we like watch clips from this from?
I-
Was this
Cinema
Fury-
Verite, isn't it?
Did we watch this in Fury's class? I
I'm
feel
not
like
sure, but I've seen the whole thing.
I've seen clips of this from a class. I don't remember which one though.
And it's so interesting because you see, I've always loved being able to just see like everyday people go about their lives, you know?
Yeah.
The actualities are very interesting to see, like, oh, I was never able to live in this time period. And how am I supposed to know except through art and documentary and history books what it's like?
Yeah.
And it's so interesting to see because these high school kids all have the same problems we do, more or less. And there's like a universal nature to the humanity
Right.
of us as not just a species, but of an age demographic, but within the context of a 1960s time. And you might be able to play with that and capture that in a period high school movie.
Mhm.
But to see it in documentary format, it is like so genuine. Like it captures everything genuine. Well, it has to be. It's a
Right.
documentary. But yeah, it captures what we were talking about earlier about how like the littlest drama seems like the biggest deal to you at that time.
Yeah.
Whereas like the only earth-shattering thing I feel like is like another student like passing away or like somebody getting pregnant. Like that is like an earth-shattering thing that would affect them for years to come or whatnot. But anything
Dying?
else, some
That would really
That'll
affect you.
listen,
That'll-
that'll
when
fuck
I
you
die,
up.
that shit's gonna stick with me for life.
Yeah.
with a classmate or something, you know. And so there are, but every other thing is like such a little insignificant. Like my grade, I don't know what I got in my chemistry class when I was in my junior year.
And who cares?
Yeah, and who cares?
Yeah.
But they capture that, and they capture the relationship between students and teachers as well.
Yeah.
Which is something that often goes unrecognized by high school media, I feel like. Or it's exaggerated in the case of something like, I don't know, Mean Girls, but I think.
Well,
That's a good
I'll bring up a good one when it comes to the relationship between like a good high school teacher represented in film. I think like the most relatable one.
Fist fight.
No. Here Comes the Boom. Kevin James. He was a teacher, right?
Yeah.
So it was
no, Dead Poet Society.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That
very good.
Robin Williams in that movie reminded me of like all of my English teachers throughout high school.
Mhm.
You know,
You had good English teachers?
I had great English
Lucky.
teachers.
My junior
were
year
bitches.
English teacher was like
Chris.
I
They
hated
could be
mine, bro.
listening.
Miss Alker, if you're out there,
Oh,
Oh,
he's
man.
gonna go to the office.
I can't believe all this happened because of the teacher. But yeah, Dead Poet, like just Robin Williams and like I feel like he's also very Ferris Bueller pilled in his mentality of life, you know, where seize the day, you know?
I guess
chill,
that's
guys.
just our moniker, huh?
What?
Seizing the day, Ferris Bueller pill.
Yeah. What's wrong with it?
I don't know. It's the same thing.
But yeah, Dead Poets, that movie makes me cry because it's like, it's about understanding like life and your place in it at a time when you need to through poetry, which is like,
And that rocks.
and it rocks.
That does rock.
Well,
Poetry
because it's like
rocks.
underneath this like very masculine sort of perspective, especially in that movie.
Yeah,
It's an all
'cause
boys school.
It is an all boys
Yeah.
school. Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I have
What
in
do you-
English class.
It's a good English class movie.
Um,
There is like a type of movies that you like watch in high school.
English class movies.
That-
That, should
that's
be a
a-
stat.
The Crucible.
Sometimes they're good. Like I said that about The Color Purple. I'm like, I would watch this in an English class and I would love every minute of it, you know? Anyways.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember it much. I was just thinking, like, do any of you guys like, were you ever threatened with boarding school, or did you ever know anyone that got sent to boarding school?
Juvenile detention school.
What?
Whoa. Oh,
You were threatened with?
No, not me.
Brandon,
Yeah.
you're
I
packing
was a
bags, you're
rebel.
going to juvie.
Yeah.
You wouldn't tell from Sean if you listened to the last episode, but he was very stern with Brandon.
Yeah, no, not me, but like honestly, we didn't have like boarding school as like an alternative. Like we had
Mm.
private schools, and then we had like flunking juvie schools. Like it's like prison boarding school, and I don't know why, but it's like for people who get really bad grades and are like disrespectful to like teachers and faculty and stuff. And I always got threatened on students. I remember in junior high and early high school that being a case, but by the time I was like a senior and junior, like there was nobody left. They would already be at the school. So
Yeah.
That sounds like such an unhelpful system.
it is,
It's-
but I never went. So
This
Good
is
boy,
so
boy.
fuck 'em.
foreign.
yeah.
I don't remember any like boarding school is always just like a movie thing. I never met anyone who was under the threat of getting sent to like boarding school.
Okay, but here's something I feel like we can all talk about though,
No.
because I think that movie does a really good job of like, were you guys ever like pressured when you were in high school because you're like, want to go to film school, I want to be an artist,
Like feeling like you had
yeah,
to
and everyone
be
else is
something
like,
else.
I want to be a lawyer,
Lawyer,
You're
doctor,
telling me,
business,
I went to
bullshit,
what
yeah.
they
because
call
that's
a-
what it was like for me, and that's why I was like, when I saw Dead Poet Society, I'm like, damn, like that dude who wants to like just wants to be an actor,
Yeah.
you know, and like his father and everyone around him was judging him for it. When I was like, I want to go to film school, and all the people in my high school were like doing all this crazier shit that like they cared more about like what money they're gonna make than what's gonna make them happy.
Not
you
only
know?
that, but I mean, I went to what they call a college prep.
I did too.
Because it was a private Catholic school, and that's why my parents sent me there. It wasn't just wanting to go into an art discipline. It was anyone who like didn't even want to go to college. Like they wanted to do community college, or
Yeah.
they wanted to travel. That was like very much looked down upon
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
by
same
a
in
lot
school.
by that
yeah.
system, by that community. And I thought that was like super toxic, because looking back, even like at 18 years old, like you don't know what you want to do with your life.
Oh,
You have
man.
no clue what you want to do with your life. And there's some good movies
Yeah.
that capture that feeling too. you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I was definitely in that same position because I went to like a pretty like academically rigorous like private school.
Yeah.
So everyone was like, I swear to God, maybe like 20-30% of my graduating class are now doctors.
Yeah.
And like there's a bunch of lawyers, business people, this and that. And yeah, no, similarly as well. Because I remember my film teacher showed me this movie when I was in high school. And my film teacher was someone who I was really close with, almost like kind of similarly to like Robin Williams and his students in this film. And yeah, this was a really touching one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fucking love Robin Williams. That guy's
also,
awesome.
shout out to like all the teachers. Who
Yeah,
have, like,
shout out to the
really
awesome teachers
positive
out there.
impact. I think
Yeah.
I was thinking about this the other day, like how much of an impact teachers have on our lives. And honestly, Dead Poet Society is one of the few films that like high school movies.
Yeah.
Where like it's almost like a tribute to the teachers that can change our lives. Like a
Yeah.
lot of high school movies, it's kind of like kids against the adults.
Yeah.
In a sense. And that's like a really good movie that shows the impact a teacher can have. A really good teacher.
Yeah.
I have another movie I want to throw in here.
Let's do it.
There's a movie that Brandon, you actually showed me a few years ago.
What the?
And I grew to really like this movie. And I think we all generally like it. Edge of 17.
Never seen it.
You haven't seen Edge of 17
I
yet?
haven't seen it.
Okay. What's his name? Woody
Let's not talk
Harrelson?
about it.
Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson plays a teacher in this movie, and his student is played by Haley Steinfeld. Haley Steinfeld's navigating all these issues with boys and school and, just like the pressure of being a normal teenager. There's actually a great bit in this film about like sex and desire, which Tori briefly mentioned earlier in the podcast. But what really draws me to this movie is the relationship between this teacher and this student, because the teacher is not like conventionally nice by any means. He's actually kind of an asshole to her.
Mm-hmm.
But like the relationship that he has with her always comes from a place of empathy, which I think is something that a lot of teachers like do. A lot of my teachers actually in high school were dicks, but they
Well,
like
clearly you
but-
sent out a death threat
Miss
one earlier in the
Alker.
episode.
She was such a xenophobic asshole. Okay, I'm not gonna get into it, but yeah, Woody Harrelson in this movie does such a great job because like even when he's like kind of being an asshat throughout, he's always being very empathetic to her,
Right.
and helping guide her through these like problems that like a teacher typically would not be dealing with, like more personal stuff with the student. But like the way he goes about it, he never crosses like some like moral line between like overextending his reach as a teacher,
Right.
but is always like keeping it professional but also very straight up with the student, and always like treats the student like an adult and lets the student make mistakes and learn from them and tells them like, you're a kid, it doesn't matter, like
Yeah.
chill.
Like this is the
And
time for
I
your
really like how straight he is with the student, because I had some teachers who like were kind of assholes, but they cared.
Usually, I would say you wouldn't be interested in it, but I think you would. Like, it's a movie that I
Really?
don't think you would be interested in, but I think you'd.
It's
actually
from
like.
the director of Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. It's the same
Oh,
director.
yeah.
And she's like, man,
She's cooking.
She's cooking right now. She's really
Yeah.
cooking. But I really like Edge of 17 because like the main character in that movie, played by Haley Steinfeld, like I just related to that feeling of like she's just like constantly like angry and horny. And like that's what I think being Anne just nodding her head. I'm glad I'm not the only one here.
Yeah.
But like that's like very much where I was at that time. Just like
Angry
either
Hornet.
just like pissed off about something or just like hormones
You wanna
were
fuck it.
raging.
You either want to kill this thing or fuck it.
Literally.
It's high school.
One or the other.
Wow. Angie, have you seen Edge of 17?
Yes,
What's your
I
take?
have. Funnily enough, I watched this movie when I was 17.
Oh,
So-
perfect. Yeah.
Like, I remember like the scene where she sits on the curb and like starts like breaking down. Like, I started crying. Like, I don't know. I just really like this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's damn, I gotta see it. Because I loved Are You There, God? Sweet Margaret.
Yeah.
And it's like-
that one's a bit more, I would say, like
Middle school.
It's
Middle
lighter?
fluffy. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
lighter because it's about a younger age.
It's
Yeah.
so heavy. The Edge of 17 actually
There's
is like
a
lot of
scene
weight.
that like I watched and I remember being like kind of rattled by the scene in the car.
Yeah,
It's like,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, it's because the characters are older. They handle heavier themes,
Right.
Which I think is appropriate for the age of the characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's actually one of my more favorite contemporary.
I really hope that she just keeps going like backwards and like developing.
Does a movie about babies next?
Yeah,
Yes.
like a Look Who's Talking reboot. Or
Oh
something.
no.
I'm joking.
Kelly Freeman Craig,
Or
if you're
Super
listening
Baby
to this,
Geniuses
do
2.
not listen to this guy's notes.
Don't
Do a baby movie.
do a baby movie. Don't
No
do it.
babies.
No babies.
Babies
no
are
baby
not the
movie, please.
protagonists.
But if she did, I'd watch.
I want.
Yeah,
You would hella watch it. Are you
Listen,
kidding me?
I'm gonna let you cook. I'm gonna let you cook. But
Tori's gonna bring the coloring book to the theater and watch the baby movie.
I kick my feet in the air,
What?
toes wiggling.
I hate to be that, but like you could do like the opposite of what Linklater did for Boyhood, but with Girlhood, which is
And go backwards.
Yeah. Oh, going backwards like a Midnight Totes type movie, showing somebody's life from like Benjamin Button.
listen,
Hmm.
okay.
That dude just went through like a roller coaster of thoughts.
Roller coaster.
But one of those thoughts, I heard Linklater.
Oh,
Let's do it.
Let's
Come
get into
on.
it.
Come
Yeah.
on. Okay, so last
Wait, I got a
week-
question for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Do you have
I'm
a
joking,
joint
I'm
on you
joking,
right
I'm
now?
joking.
No, not on me.
It would be a hell of a lot cooler if you did.
all right, all right,
Loved
all
it,
right.
man.
I loved it. I'm
You
sorry.
did.
Embarrassing.
But
Yeah.
Dazed and Confused is a movie I've always loved, but Ethan and I last week went to the
Oh.
Los Feliz, saw a 35mm screening of it, and oh my god.
Talk about a movie that just like shows off the freedom
Yes.
that you have in high school, and just like, and what I was the most impressed with is like how much it like covered everybody in the high school experience.
Yeah, it really did.
Because I was nervous because I watched Everybody Wants Some, which I heard is similar. Oh boy, Brandon. But it's like about like the first like semester of college, but like you only get it from like a certain group's perspective. In Dazed and Confused, you get it from everybody's
Literally
perspective.
every single archetype in the high school sphere
Yeah.
gets a moment to shine.
Yeah.
Which is really, you get the jocks, you get the stoners, you kind of get the geeks, you get everyone. And the thing is, they all coexist
Yeah.
in a sense that like there's characters that cross between groups, which I think is really realistic. I don't know about
Yeah.
you guys, but there weren't like cliques,
No.
like Mean
No.
Girl-esque cliques where it was really like everybody just hung out with a certain type.
Yeah.
People bounced between different
It was like
groups.
but I feel like the grades stuck together in my school.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
people
yeah.
bounce between the groups definitely.
There was
Bounce
a bit
around
of
for
an
me.
age divide, but
Yeah,
I
I-
think cliques can overlap easily.
I think mine was more religious based.
oh, was
Really?
it actually?
Yeah, there was lots of like my school was like probably 55% like Mormon.
Brandon
Oh,
had the
that's
Jerusalem of high schools.
With like seminaries and such, but it was more like of a religious divide than it was like anything. Like there was a lot of intermixing between groups. Like the band group was like intermixing with like the theater group, but also like the band people really got along with the football players because like they played at their games all the time.
Right.
So there, like that's less where I connect to this film, even though it's like very much the archetypal like dissection of high school life. You have all
Yeah.
these like different groups. Like yes, you have the kids who are in like the advanced AP classes, but for the most part, like those were intermixed with like the people you wouldn't expect to be in those sort of classes. Like maybe you wouldn't expect somebody who was involved heavily in extracurricular to be involved in that, but a lot of people were. So
Yeah.
that's why it's not that good.
I
Dazed and
disagree.
Confused?
Oh my
Dude,
gosh.
how do you not think
It
this
is-
is like how can you not believe this is better than the
It's not focused.
I disagree. I think
It's
that
so
movie is
focused.
a portrait of the spirit of youth.
Yeah.
And like the feeling of being that age, and you're impulsive, you're idiotic, you just want to, kind of what I was talking about at the start of this episode, is just that feeling of wanting to be free.
Yeah.
And it's the first time in your life where you're getting those little you get a little bit of independence,
And they're
you
all
just go
constantly
crazy
horny
with
and
it.
angry too.
They
What you were saying
are.
later.
They really are.
They
And
are.
I just felt like I knew those types of people in high school. I
Yeah.
really did. I think it's a fantastic film. I really do.
People's immediate like needs in high school were like so simple to these days. It's like they either want to get laid or they want beer
Or stoned.
or stoned.
Yeah,
those are like the
literally.
3 goals of those movies that everyone was going after. You know, it's great. What have you got? Have you guys seen it? Anybody over in this corner?
Nope.
Okay. Well, let's go on a similar note. This was the movie that I was vaguely referring to earlier. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I feel like that's like the natural progression from Dazed and Confused, like,
Yeah.
because the next decade, you know, and it feels the same because, and this is what you told me, that like the author of this book, he went in and like
Cameron Crowe.
Cameron
Cameron
Crowe.
Crowe went undercover in a San Diego high school
Yeah.
for a year. And that's how he wrote the book that went on to be.
How old was he?
He was like our age, like mid-20s.
It's a little creepy. I know that wasn't in his.
But it was
that
just
is a
an
little
observation.
creepy.
He was just doing an observational.
was
It wasn't
literally just
observational.
observing
He
people.
was a part of the events. Let's be honest.
I don't think he I
Whatever.
hope he didn't.
He made
partake in anything.
He made a really good movie.
Is that illegal?
Well, actually, really big shout out to director
Amy
Heckerling.
Yeah.
Who underappreciated director. I mean, she really broke some boundaries with that film. I mean, Fast Times. Thinking of the context of when it came out, that movie tackles abortion and sexuality in a way that really was super taboo at the time.
Even in those John Hughes movies, it's really,
Yeah,
it's
John
like
Hughes
barely
wouldn't even
touched
touch
on.
him.
It's
Yeah.
like there's
Touch
that
him.
one shot in 16 Candles where they're in the shower, and then there's barely a thing in Breakfast Club about that.
But yeah,
but it's all over Fast.
and
Times.
she also made Clueless, which is also another really good.
And
high
that's
school
a
movie.
great one for the 90s. That's
It
like a
really
trilogy
is.
right there.
Yeah. So yeah, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It's just
I hate this guy.
it really just puts you in high school.
It does. It literally drops you in.
an 80. It's like an 8. I think it's less than 90 minutes. I think it's like 88
Oh yeah,
minutes.
it's tight.
In 88 minutes, you just experience a year in high school, and you
Yeah.
just hang out with these characters.
Spicoli.
Spicoli.
Legend.
I love
great.
Spicoli.
One of
And
the
a
best
good
TV
relationship with the
characters.
teacher too.
Oh, very
Mr.
interesting.
Hand.
Mr. Hand.
See,
So
that's
good.
a film that it doesn't utilize like those archetypes. I don't think, and it does a good job at intermixing like groups and stuff.
It
like that,
isn't. Cliques aren't really defined in that movie.
which
Yeah.
is something I appreciate because it feels like it's like feast or be feasted on, you know, by the people around you
Yeah.
in terms of your social status.
True.
And I found that the most interesting regarding that film.
Yeah. What do you guys think? I feel like we need to get more input from this corner. over
I
here.
have not seen this movie.
You haven't seen this movie? Andrew, you seen this movie?
No.
We
guess.
should do like
Tori, you've
just
seen
a
this movie.
hangout
I have
high
seen
school
it.
movie night with
Like 7
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
A day.
We each get to pick one.
Yeah.
We have to
There's a
watch
lot.
all of them.
Yeah. What do you think, Tori?
I think I didn't like it at first when I watched it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, but then the more I watch it, the more I like fell in love with it. I think it was the same issue I had with like we were talking about The Nice Guys before we started rolling, but like
Oh yeah.
my like immature sense of feminism and like media literacy of like seeing sex on screen. I was like, oh, they're totally
Like it's exploiting almost.
yeah, like exploiting. And then I think what made me turn was Joe telling me the story of Amy Heckerling wanted the sex scene between. I'm totally blanking on
Oh
the characters.
yeah.
Is it like that like old
by
guy?
the pool.
No,
No,
it's
it's
in
the one in
pool
the
house.
it's in
The
the
pool
baseball.
house.
between
clubhouse.
Damone and Jennifer.
Oh,
Jason
right,
Leigh.
right. Yeah.
And yeah, in
Where
Amy
the nudity
Heckerling
was supposed to be equal.
It was supposed to be about the early time of like seeing someone naked, someone else naked that you're
Yeah.
in a sexual relationship with, and the studio execs said, no, we can see Jennifer Jason Leigh naked, but we can't see
You can't
any
see his dick. Wow.
Which is, but the
I thought we
Criterion,
did see his dick.
well, in the Criterion re-release that we watched, they put it back in.
Oh, okay. That's the
Yeah,
only
so
version.
shout
I've
out to
seen.
Criterion.
I feel like it strips the magical nature of sexuality, you know, in favor of something that is more realistic and like kind of brutal almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And which I appreciate because it's not always like you think it is. And I don't want the cinema ideal to be like what people's expectations are.
Why not?
The sex in the movie is really, I mean, it's meant to be disappointing.
Yeah.
Which is super accurate. Your first time having sex.
Yep.
I don't know anyone whose
Awkward.
first time having sex is like the best.
It was a
thanks, man.
movie.
You know, like it's usually fucking.
And if anybody is,
Awkward.
It usually is fucking.
All right, now it's stacked.
Yeah, thanks for
No,
the
I
kind
didn't.
comments, Joe.
Damn!
Yeah, I was about to say.
Oh man!
Ooh, wow.
Oh, yeah,
All right,
Kidding,
we're gonna work this
kidding.
out right here.
it doesn't have to be like sexual intercourse. It could be any first sexual experience.
Do you agree?
And they were all bad, yeah.
They were all bad, and they're
I'm
still
kidding.
bad.
It's not a universal thing. I'm not saying it's a universal thing, but it's common that your first exploration into sexuality is incredibly uncomfortable and awkward.
No, I fully agree, honestly. You're horrible, so.
Oh.
Kill the joke.
All right, we're moving on. We're moving on.
All right, Chris, Ange, let's get.
Yeah.
These
Okay.
have been two movies that you guys haven't been able to touch on, so let's hear some of your
Okay.
guys' picks.
You want to throw one in first?
I want
Ange?
to pick Ange. What's a high school movie that you should love?
10 Things I Hate About You.
Yes.
Ooh.
I remember
So
Joey
good.
showed me this movie in back in college. This movie's
And
so
I want to
good.
hear what
Is that
what
on Tubi?
because I love this movie too. Like
I've never seen
about
it. Tell me
works
what.
for
I
you?
don't even know
What
what it's about.
the-
What is it about?
I just love. What's her cat? Is Cat her name?
Uh,
The-
Julia
the main
Stiles.
girl?
Julia Stiles' character,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Katarina Stratford.
But she
Mhm.
goes by
I think
Kat.
Kat,
I guess,
okay.
yeah.
I love her character. She's just like, she doesn't really care about what others think about her,
Mhm.
and it's like it's so fun to see her act, especially like the party scene where she gets on the table
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Also the iconic scene, the football field,
Oh, Heath.
With the
Heath
late
Ledger
great,
singing
Holy.
to
late
her,
great Heath Ledger.
serenading. Yeah,
Oh.
it's just a really fun movie.
So it's based on a Shakespeare play. I forget.
Ten-
Is it To Tame a Shrew?
To Tame a
Yeah.
Shrew, yeah.
Um,
Taming
it's-
of the Shrew.
And you can hear it in the dialogue. Like
Really?
it's very Shakespearean in its nature.
It's not like Romeo plus Juliet.
Yeah, where
Oh,
they're
well,
Not
that's
like
like
not like
straight
Middle
up.
English, but
yeah,
yeah,
it's
you
not
can hear
like
inklings of it.
that far Shakespeare. It's not total Shakespeare, but you could tell the characters like have very declarative dialogue in
Yeah.
how they're feeling, and it's just about like two relationships. It's about these two sisters, one of which really wants to date, the other has no interest in dating. That's Kat, Julia Stiles' character, and their dad won't let the younger one date until the older one who doesn't want to date gets a boyfriend. So that's
Oh.
kind of like the premise.
Yeah.
And then Heath Ledger comes into
and
the
he's like
picture.
the bad.
And he's a bad boy.
He says,
and
"Where's the
he's
Italian?"
So heartthrob, and
Rock 'em up, rock 'em up, rock 'em up, rock 'em up.
he's such a heartthrob. And then Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays a guy who's
Oh,
really after
he's
the
a-
younger sister, except he doesn't have nearly as
He
much
he's
game.
got to be young in that movie.
No,
He's
he's
really
this was
young.
his first film, I think.
No.
No?
Well,
he was in a
Angel
show.
All right, never
now.
mind. All right,
Let's
fuck me then.
go.
But yeah, it's just a really like fun, feel good movie, and it has some really there's an icon like Andrew was saying, there's an iconic scene where Heath Ledger sings like
I love you, baby.
Oh,
yeah, he
Copyright.
gets on the mic and sings that to her when she's at soccer practice.
That's awesome.
It's a great
It's
great
very fun.
90s
It is like
high school movie.
the only thing I'll say about it, and I love the movie. It's like one of my favorite
Movies
teen
ever?
comedies.
I said movies ever. It's one of
Yeah,
your movies
it's
ever?
like it's like The Terminal. So
Well, that's just the only
That's
movie.
the only movie.
it's the only one that's ever been made.
We're just gaslighting the listeners right now. What?
What?
These people
Let me
talking
look at my
about?
letterbox.
Yeah.
Is I think it is like a little generic in the love story is very much like, oh, it's like they're kind of the opposites that are attracting to each other, sort of, and that
Mhm.
like is it's played out, but it's a great romance.
I love
like
that
they have
show,
really
though.
good chemistry, and it's a very unlikely pairing. Like to think that Heath Ledger and Julia Stiles would be the rom-com pairing of the late '90s or early 2000s is crazy to me.
You guys keep saying Julia Stiles. Do you know who I'm thinking of instead? Julia Child, the chef.
We pray love. Angelica.
Oh, then we will cook the chicken. I was like, she's in it. What the hell?
Okay, I have one I'll throw in here.
Yeah.
So far we've been talking about a lot of these like very like wistful, optimistic films about high school.
Let's get dark. Chris.
I want to go
Let's
a
get
little
fucked
dark
up.
here.
Let's go dark.
This is kind of the obvious pick for the dark one, but I want to talk about Carrie.
Oh yes. Oh, I'm so
Carrie's
happy you
fire.
brought this up.
I love
The
Carrie.
De Palma one, right?
Yes.
The original. Yeah.
The
Okay,
OG.
good.
Yeah, the one with Chloe Grace Moretz. Have you
No,
seen that?
that's
that
the
new
20.
one?
That's
That's
the
the
remake,
2013. Yeah, it's
ignore
not as
that
good. Not
one.
nearly
Not
as
good.
We're talking about the Sissy Spacek
Okay.
original with John Travolta,
That's a good one.
directed by Brian De Palma. The movie and the book that put Stephen King on the map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mid.
Yeah, this movie's fantastic. I think Carrie's character is really great because I love how like repressed she is throughout the film. Her mom is kind of this like religious nut, and like won't like let her like go out, like learn and do anything beyond like go to school, come home, do your homework, go to bed.
Yeah.
And
Like
then
what I did to myself.
but like wait a minute.
What I enforced upon myself. Like my parents are probably like, why don't you go out more often? I'm like, I'm tired.
But and throughout this movie you have this like, and it is like Joey said, like it is one of those coming of age movies, but it's taken in this dark light. Like there's this really hard to watch scene in like a shower room, like the changing rooms, where she has her first period, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
And other girls bully her, and throughout this movie it's about like kind of her coming to in like, how do I put it, like growing into herself, and through that kind of developing these telekinetic powers, and eventually the bullies take it a step too far on prom night.
Yep.
And spoiler alert,
Well,
so
everyone
Just
fucking
to
dies.
shout out, this isn't anything related to the themes, but the way the scene, the iconic,
The
horrifying
blood scene.
scene,
Oh.
the way it is a classic Brian De Palma constructed scene.
Yes.
It is
Yeah.
some of the best
His editing in
editing.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh my
yeah.
god, and the cinematography, like the technical filmmaking of that scene is like some of my favorite
Yeah.
displays of filmmaking like ever.
Exactly. Yeah, and like the way it makes you feel like rattled by that scene, because
Yeah.
like once that blood hits and you see the lead actress, I forget her name,
Sissy Spacek.
Sissy Spacek. The look on her face when she like turns after the bloods hit her,
Oh,
and
God.
you're just like, oh, everyone's gonna die in this room.
Oh yeah, she,
And oh my god, they do not hold back at all in this
yeah,
movie. This
it
is a
is
very
massacre.
graphic, like,
it's
bloody scene.
It's
It's-
gruesome.
but it is
Kind
amazingly
of
done.
satisfying though.
Oh, but yeah, it is also
It
like
is,
it's
because
kind of
you're
like
like,
a
you're
revenge,
rooting.
you know.
They
You're-
deserve it.
yeah,
They
and like
deserve
we're
it.
positioned as the audience to fuck those kids, bro. But yeah, but yeah, Carrie's a wonderful one. I really like this movie. This is like a 80s, right?
70s.
70s
70s,
classic.
yeah.
Yeah, late 70s, I think.
That's a good one.
Yeah, after that one in there.
It's so good.
Brian De Palma. I think that was my first De Palma movie.
Yeah,
It was Carrie, and
it's one of his best.
one of his. Yeah, though I love Snake Eyes. Have you
I haven't seen
Snake Eyes, like
Snake
the
Eyes.
G.I. Joe.
No, it's Nicolas Cage, and he has to solve a mystery, or he has to
Oh,
solve
is that
a murder.
Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, and
Oh,
he's trapped in like a Vegas hotel. And it's like
Was he in high
And he
school?
goes to high school.
goes to high school, which is why we're talking about it. Thank you. Okay, pull me out of that. Yeah, I mean, like, okay, hot take. I despise most of the time the split diopter lens.
Yeah,
That's De Palma's shit though.
I know.
No, dude, I love
But-
split diopter
but-
shots.
But De Palma gets a pass. There's two guys who get a pass: De Palma and John Carpenter.
There
They
you go.
always know how to do it right.
Nobody should get.
I think
pass.
Tarantino gets a pass for it too. I think he knows how to use it too.
I think anyone gets it.
Yeah,
Hey, if you
I-
want to look at
I-
a big ugly like
I
blurry
mean,
smear in
there
the middle of the
shouldn't be
screen,
a pass for it because what's so bad about it?
there's a big ugly blurry smear in the screen.
Get over it.
I'm trying.
Jaws, the shot in Jaws.
Okay, that one's good too.
That's another good one.
Oh, I guess Spielberg can
do it.
get
Oh,
it.
Spielberg can do it
Jordan
every
Peele
day.
uses it in Us.
Okay, all right, whatever.
Somebody's just.
So you're
going
admitting
to-
you're wrong, and everybody split diopter shots.
They're cool.
Anybody else got a high
They're
school
awesome.
movie that
Yeah, I
you
got
want
one.
to talk about?
A Silent Voice is a really good.
Oh, yo, you're cooking. This is great. I love this one.
I
love Silent Voice.
I've never heard of this.
You was
Please
gonna
tell
throw
me.
it on.
Anime movie, baby.
Yeah, it was. It's such
Hey,
a.
Justin, you hear that?
Justin,
We're talking about
has been
anime over here.
sleeping.
We're talking about Silent Voice.
Oh, that's a sad one, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's sad.
it's overwhelmingly sad.
I've never heard of this.
But
movie.
it's kind of
Someone-
overwhelmingly
Netflix.
opposite.
Give me a premise.
Well, it's a movie about a bully,
A boy,
a boy who is
A
a bully.
a bully boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he bullies this girl in elementary school because she can't hear.
She's deaf.
She has a hearing aid.
Yeah.
And he ends up like ripping her hearing aid out once and like causing her to bleed, and that like totally shifts his like trajectory in life because he transfers schools, like there's this whole like drama behind it with his family, and like he can't like see this girl anymore because the mom is incensed that he would bully a kid because she can't hear. And then in high school, it like you see he's like very shy and reserved, and you see how this changes him with the people around him as the secret is revealed, and he gets to know the girl once again.
Yeah.
And he feels really bad about it, and it's a really great character examination of how bullies and like evolve over
How
time.
people can change.
How people can change. I remember
and
walking.
how they're
in.
not a piece of
People,
shit.
I'm not a piece of shit.
I used to.
I
be.
used to be a
I
It's
piece of
walked-
literally
shit.
that sketch. Like,
I
as a
walked
movie.
in after work one day when we used to live together
Yeah.
at SNET 2.
Yeah.
And it was like the last scene, like literally the last 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And he turns to me as if I'm walking in on him watching like porn or something.
What?
And
What do
he
you
has
mean? No.
He's got tears in his eyes and he goes, "People can change. I'm not a piece of shit."
Why? I wasn't like covering the screen or anything. I just
Yeah.
turned
No,
around.
but
and I
you
looked
whipped
at you.
around like you were like who's home? And
Because
I'm
I was
obviously
excited to
it's
see
me.
you. Yeah, I know, because you recommended the movie. I was excited to see you.
And it was good, right?
It was really good. That's a really good movie.
Yeah. it's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. It's a very hard, because like I remember my friends in high school, they recommended me this movie, and they like and I remember watching it and being like, because like in the beginning of the movie, you're kind of positioned as an audience to like kind of fucking hate this guy.
Yeah.
What a
it's
piece of
awful.
shit! Like
But he's a
I
human
hate
being.
bullies, but then like you start to see him less as like the archetypal bully and sort of see him as a human
Yeah.
as the story goes on, and then you start to understand like this guy made like nothing that he does now will like make what he did in the past right,
Yeah.
but he can start taking steps to be a better person and hopefully do better, which is something I think a lot of bullies like go through. I mean, like when I went back to Hong Kong this summer, I reconnected with a bully
With
of
your
mine.
bully.
Yeah, and now we're friends.
Oh, that's nice.
That's great.
Yeah, his name's Duncan. What's up, Duncan? Can you hear me?
Shout out.
Shout out to Duncan.
Shout out Duncan.
You were a piece of shit. But
You
now
were a
you're
piece
cool.
of shit.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
okay now.
But then you had dinner at my house.
I
and
mean,
now
that
we're all
happened.
Oh, Duncan is bad boy.
Did that ever happen?
Yeah,
to you?
Duncan's the bad boy
He
that
didn't
my
get to
dad
pick
yelled
his
at.
ice cream flavor.
Yeah.
Did
I'll
you
tell
guys
that
ever
story.
have this? I actually have always been curious about this. This is nothing regarding movies, but bullies.
Did you have
Did
a
you
bully?
have people who changed from elementary school to middle school and then middle school to high school?
In terms of like being
In terms
a
of being
mean
like
person?
really a mean person to a nice person, and it was like by the transition from school to school.
Yeah, me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you a bully, Ethan?
Ethan
Oh,
pushed people
man.
downstairs.
I did some shit in lower school.
In middle school?
No, in lower school.
Oh,
in
lower
like
school.
Elementary
elementary school. They called it lower school where I was at. 'Cause it
That
was,
sounds really demeaning.
it
That's
was
stupid.
It was because it was preschool, lower school, middle school, high school. That's how it went.
Why not higher school?
I get like that's what they call college, like
Higher
school.
education.
I don't know.
Welcome to.
But let's see.
Brigham Young.
I
Higher
pulled down a kid's pants in the 3rd grade.
Where was he? Where were you?
Where was I at the
Were you-
playground?
Oh, God, in front of everyone.
In front of
Not in the
in front
bathroom,
of all his
there
friends.
we
He was
go.
climbing up a ladder in the playground. I just
You dick.
I had to go to counseling for that. Then
Did the kid have to go to counseling for that?
Yeah, he had to come with me, and I had to like apologize to him. I went to the counseling office a lot in lower school. It was cool. They had the counselor had like a collection of McDonald's toys from throughout the ages. So I got to play with McDonald's toys while I
Your
was being
counselor had
scolded.
McDonald's toys too.
Really? Is that just like a thing?
I had mine. Like
Oh.
they were like the little transformers, the fry that turned into a transformer. No.
Cool.
So you guys were like getting in trouble on purpose.
so
to
we go play with
these
McDonald's toys. Yeah, I
I'd be
honestly.
like, sorry, I.
And
played."
then when Flapjack came out, I went up to this one kid and I said, "Who knew that?" Because I didn't know what sense of humor meant. But in Flapjack, the show, they say, "Who knew this guy had a sense of humor?" And I quoted that to him, and he thought I was like being really mean to him. So I had to go to counseling for that too. and then
You
we
got in
missed
trouble
gym
for a
from it, and we were
Flapjack
running
joke?
to gym. And I remember just running and crying, be like, "I'm so sorry. I said that. I'll give you all my Pokemon cards. I'm so sorry." And then in 5th grade, these are my last. I got 2 more stories. Okay.
This guy was an asshole.
I know. See, I'm showing you that I changed, but everyone's like, "No, you fucking bully Brandon all the time."
I guess it's
Brandon's
cancer.
grandparents are like, "No, you still bully." We were building catapults, and one kid called my catapult garbage, so I smashed a meter stick on his back.
Yo, meter.
I snapped it in half by hitting him in his back, and like, imagine that he's like bent over, and he went, he like fell to the ground. And then I couldn't build my catapult for the rest of the day, and my partner was mad at me for that. And then I pushed a kid down the stairs, but it wasn't like because I was trying to bully them. It was like one of my best friends, and he was kind of doing the thing that Justin does.
Where you
You
stand.
just like slowly walk in front of us on purpose. And I was like, I had it with this guy, so I shoved him, and then he went down 2 flights of stairs. years.
You sent him down 2 flights.
And then one of like the extended day like caretakers, you know, did you guys have extended day where it's like at the end of the school, like
Yeah,
some kids would
yeah,
stay
yeah.
behind?
Yeah,
you
but
know?
we put him in the like not the kitchen.
In the cage.
In the cage.
What the hell? No, you'd like
They're
send him to like
locking
a
kids up
cafeteria
in
or something.
Arizona.
Anyways, she tried to help him, and I like shoot her off. I'm like, he's fine. Don't worry about him. And I got a big talking to from that one.
Ooh.
But and that was like the thing that made me change. I'm like, I'm not gonna hurt people anymore.
It only took one time. For
The
me.
lessons I learned.
That was in
fifth grade.
preschool. I stole some kid's stuff and then I tried to hide.
You almost
him.
killed a cat too.
We don't talk about that.
Okay.
You damn near killed that. I love this story.
It lived.
It
It
lived.
lived.
Uh,
I didn't mean
this
to.
podcast is meant to just slowly like leak out your serial killer tendencies. I'm just kidding.
Stole a kid's
What
toy.
movie were we talking about? Oh yeah,
Uh,
Silent Voice the movie. And what do you think about it?
Silent Voice.
Yeah, you've seen it, right?
I saw it, but I don't really remember much of it. But I remember that it made me cry.
Yeah,
at the
That's
end.
good.
the ending is brutal. I don't want to give it away, but you guys should actually. We should definitely.
I
watch
know
it.
you don't like anime usually, but
But
I
it's
like it. What are you talking about?
I know you-
Joey
know you
hates
hate
Japanese
Japanese
at film.
What the
I
hell?
remember when he said, "I don't like that animation style."
When did I say that?
A while.
And he's
ago.
like, and
I think when I was a kid, yeah, because I grew up, you know, very American style of animation. But now that I'm an adult, it can expand my palette.
Yes.
Let's go. We're shaking hands right
Shaking
now.
hands.
That's about change.
yeah.
That was
See,
that was my whole point.
Brandon was a piece of
He's
shit
not
like
a
5
piece of
minutes
shit.
ago, but now he's
I
cool.
was doing a bit.
No, you're
Okay.
doing a social experiment.
Yeah.
I think Tor needs
Tori,
to throw in.
you
a
need to
movie.
throw one in. Yeah.
I have a very obvious trilogy that you've all forgotten about.
Trilogy.
Trilogy.
High School is in the title.
Oh.
Musical.
Oh,
musical.
High
Musical.
School Musical.
Yeah.
Has unlocked something.
I thought
It's
we were talking
amazing.
about American Pie.
Thank you for
Tori
bringing this
has
up.
let
Listen up.
monkeys out of the barrel.
I don't know if you guys were introduced to it like at the same time, same way I was, but like before any of these movies you talked about, this series was what taught me what high school's gonna be like,
Which it isn't.
which it absolutely
Which
is
it
not.
So
definitely
that's why
was
we didn't
not.
pick it.
I remember being in like 2nd and 3rd grade and making myself a little fake locker out of a box because I was
That's
so
so sweet.
excited
Did
to
you
have a
still
have a
locker,
locker? Yeah.
like Gabriella and Troy did, or like Sharpay did. She had the
Oh,
best
yeah.
locker.
she had the double pink one, bro.
Do you guys have lockers in your?
Yeah, but we
We did at
barely
high
used
school.
them.
Yeah.
High school, I used mine.
I had
pretty
lockers
They
in
got
frequently.
rid
middle
of
school and
ours.
high school.
They got rid of ours, so I never had lockers ever.
What?
Yeah.
How'd you
So
carry
you
your books
carried all
around?
of your stuff with you?
Yeah, my backpack.
That sucks.
That's kind of messed up.
Yeah, I know. In the Arizona heat.
Ooh, stinky.
Anyways,
But yeah, I love this pick, Tori. High School Musical was a series that I was really formative for me. Hold the thought. Justin's got a message for us, everybody. Can someone read it?
I've never watched High School Musical.
Good.
Justin
You're not
has
missing out.
never
Justin has never
watched
watched High School
High School
Musical.
Musical.
Are you ashamed of yourself?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I don't. I'm actually proud of you.
I've made it this far, brother.
Ethan hadn't until college.
Yeah, fun.
You want to know
story.
why? You know why? You know how I was introduced to High School Musical?
I know because of reality.
Yeah, because they caused so much traffic on my way to school. Because they filmed High School
Yeah.
Musical a few blocks away from my school.
And now they're doing it again.
Really?
There's
Well, I'm
some-
not there, but like, they
the
would
series.
cause so much traffic because all the trailers would be parked out in the parking lots. They'd close off roads.
And this
stuff
was
for it.
during the school year?
Yes.
What? They were filming out of school during the school year?
Yeah, and what they would do is they put all the other students in like, whenever
Trailer.
like in like those mobile
Trailers.
homes, the trailers.
Yeah, we used to have our like extracurricular art classes in those.
That's
Yeah.
insane. They didn't just go in during
Interesting.
summer break. There's like 3 months out
I
of
think
the
it,
year
like,
when the school's
I
vacated.
think they,
Why
like-
wouldn't you just film?
I think it
then?
like bled in because they wanted like the right season. I don't know. Who
Too
who
hot.
knows?
It's too
I just
hot.
remember like I was like, oh my god, these guys again. Like when they started filming High School Music, because they didn't film it anywhere in High School Musical too, because they went to
They went to New Mexico.
New
or
Mexico,
something.
somewhere
Some desert ass
Yeah.
resort.
What, somewhere
High
in the
School
South.
Musical too. Is that like really about high school? Because
No.
I'm on summer vacation.
It's
Well,
about summer. in
It's
high
the
school.
But it's
the
still
first
the
scene.
summer high school experience.
The
Exactly.
first
No,
scene
it's
takes
not.
place
Yeah,
there.
Yes, because it has like your summer job and
you
everything.
know when you're in your classroom, the
I had
school
a
year's about
job.
to end,
I
and
didn't have
everyone's
a
looking
summer
at the
job.
clock and they're going,
Summer,
summer.
summer,
Yeah.
summer.
They do that in Dazed and Confused.
And then they throw their papers in the air.
Yeah.
As they always
Yeah.
do in real life.
I will
Yeah.
say one thing about High School Musical 3 though.
Yeah.
I really like High School Musical 3.
It's on High School Musical 3 is the best.
Okay,
one by far.
here's
They're
my
all
case.
the
I'm gonna
same.
make my case to defend High School Musical 3. So oftentimes people say High School Musical 3 is the worst of the trilogy.
Who says that?
Most people.
What?
Yeah.
He does.
Most people-
Brandon
insane.
Winchester.
It's the best one by far.
I agree, Joey.
No, the first one is.
High School Musical. Okay, High School Musical 2 is generally the most liked,
What?
which kind of baffles me.
I think
Anyway,
it's for
but
the meme.
The reason that I think High School Musical 3 is the best is because I think thematically it's the strongest. Like the way that, and I know that's weird to say about High School Musical,
because
but
they're
like,
all the same movie.
no, they're not. The third
No,
one's
the
about like
third one
moving
goes
on
deep.
and letting go
It
and
really is.
letting go of
I feel
expectations
like
of one
quality-wise,
another.
they're all the same. They all go through the same beats, I feel.
I
don't
think
know.
the third one, like what Chris was saying, it does a really good job for a kids movie, a movie marketed for little people, the age we were when it came out.
The second-
little babies.
They're little people. There was
Yeah.
like tiny people. They were younger
Well,
though, little smaller.
You know what I mean?
kids.
Like it was meant for 7 and 8 year olds, but like it does a really good
second
job
one
at
is the
diving
same.
into like what it means to experience
The
change
politics.
and to deal with. You know, your world is going to be different
Yeah.
forever.
What are you so sad about,
I
Brandon?
can't look at you.
What? Hey, and also High School Musical 3 features, what is it, The Rocket? What's his name?
Oh,
Hated it.
Rocket Man!
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude. He and that kid were blazing it up in that
Oh,
bathroom.
yeah,
and
they come
they
out.
run out. They're like, "Yo, yo, yo! It's lunchtime!"
Dude, hell, that's a vibe. I'm not gonna lie.
Those
I
me
love
during
that guy.
lunchtime.
Maybe that's why you don't.
Anyway,
Yo.
Tori, what's your favorite High School Musical?
Yeah.
I think it was 3. And you're saying that all 3 are bad quality. High School Musical 3 was a theatrical release.
it's
And
not a-
number one
It's
at
got
the box
a bigger
office.
budget, but that's about
and
it.
shit showed.
I
It did.
remember
Okay,
It
I will admit
absolutely
it did show.
Some, okay,
I mean, especially
Tori,
when he's walking in the like
the
that-
hallway.
They did it before
That's a
Inception.
fantastic set piece, and
Oh yeah, they did it
The first
before
time no one
Inception.
saw
They
that,
did.
it
They
was
did
like-
rotating room before Inception.
He was like,
yeah.
You got to give a shout out to Kenny Ortega, a phenomenal choreographer.
He's
Yes,
one of the best.
amazing.
He carried the
One of the
series
best
on his back.
of all time.
So when he got to direct the third one, it like
Oh, he directed it.
Yeah,
See, I love the music of those movies. I don't like the movies of those movies.
I think I
thought
Want
you
It All
loved
is one of
them.
the best
No,
sequences
you can
I've
look
ever
at my
seen
rating.
on
Why?
film.
It's fantastic.
Because I
It's a
wanted to
fantastic
torture
musical
you.
number.
It's like why I showed you the Barbie movies.
Oh, that was such a fun night.
That was great.
Whatever.
We gotta do
locked
that
him
again.
Inside.
That's not what we're talking about. Anyways, High School Musical.
Ethan's
I was just
mad.
always pissed off that they said that it was New Mexico.
Oh, yeah, they said it was
When
Albuquerque.
they very
said
much
it was
look, it doesn't even look like New
looks-
Mexico.
So
It looks
that's
like
what this
Utah.
is all about.
and they're dumb, and the music is awful.
No, it's not. It's
Yes,
not
it
bad.
is.
It's great music.
I wouldn't
Except
say
for
it's
bet,
bad.
except for bet on it.
That's a meme.
That's a good song.
They're all memes. That's the second one is like, what is the song at the end of the movie?
Every day.
Yeah. No. Is it Gotta Go My Own Way?
Every
Which one?
Oh, is that the one? Are
Every
you talking about the one where she breaks up with him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go my own way.
No.
I'm the expert.
That's the same as how they broke up in the third movie. That's what I mean.
Okay, yeah, I will.
Moving
I
on
will
and
give
changing.
Ethan that.
Their yearly
The
breakup.
essential
Yeah.
plot points of these movies are generally the same. Gabrielle always breaks up with Troy at some point in the
Yes.
middle. I will give you that the plot points are generally the same, but the third one, the themes on
Because they're
moving on-
actually.
I think you can
Oh.
honestly just watch the third one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't
I
have
think
to.
you could watch any of them.
I think you're good. But if you had to, I would just say watch the third one.
Okay,
Yeah.
Ethan, will you?
Third one's good.
Which one would you say is the best one?
I literally would say they're all the.
You got it right. Okay, what's it? In your
Okay,
rank?
I'm gonna say the third one because it has the highest production value.
I rest my case.
Were you a Disney Channel girly?
Yes.
Good.
My favorite one is probably the first one. Just 'cause
Wow.
it-
Yes.
Just
Classics.
because it has like the classics.
It's the classics.
It really
It-
is. It's play the hits.
Also, it's the first one that uses the formula, and then it never needs to do it again. And they milked it clean.
Whoa.
And now they're doing a show.
And now they're doing a show.
Hey, the
that's why
show's
it's-
not bad. I'm gonna be real. I watched the first season of it. I haven't continued
Yeah.
on, but like it's not bad. It's not terrible.
You think I'd like it?
No, not at least they acknowledge that it's Utah.
They do
Yeah, they do because it's about
because it's
the
about
kids in the high school where they filmed High School Musical.
Oh, okay.
I think.
He's-
Yeah, but they
So they go
acknowledge
to
it's
East High
Utah.
in
It
Salt
is.
Lake
They're
Utah.
like, actually, it's New Mexico, and then they're like they actually don't acknowledge it, and then that you're double angry.
Oh.
Anyway,
Anyways,
Anyone got anything else they want?
let's
to
do.
Do
Let's
you want to like
one
rapid
more.
fire? Like any
Oh,
last ones
let's
you
yeah.
wanted
Let's
to
rapid
mention?
fire honorable mentions. Let's go in a circle. Tori, you start.
Yeah.
Ladybird.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
wait.
how did we all forget Lady
Dude,
Bird?
does
I
that
didn't
have to
forget.
be an honorable mention? Like, can we not spare like 2 minutes?
Let's talk about Lady Bird.
I got a ship to run, man. No, I'm kidding.
Come on. Yes, Tori.
Tori, go ahead. Tell us about Lady Bird.
Well, okay, the biggest thing I remember from watching it is going to see it for like the second or third time with Joe. And we're in the movie theater. I'm still crying at the end because just the mother-daughter story of it
it's
all
so
was just
good.
crushing.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there sobbing, and then from behind us walks down one of our film professors.
Yeah.
And says, "Hey guys, how you doing? Long time no see." And I'm covered in tears. I was so embarrassed. But I guess at least he saw I'm passionate.
Yeah.
that's good.
absolutely.
And that's a great movie. I mean, that mother-daughter relationship is the heart of the film, but that really captures that feeling of like, I don't know. In high school, I was just mad at my parents a lot, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Like, I was
Weren't we
going through a
all?
time where it really was like me versus them.
Yeah.
And like fighting for your independence and just being angry at your parents all the time. And then that first time when you go to college, like at the very end, and you realize like how much you miss them. And I think that movie, Lady Bird,
Yeah.
captures that better than any other that I
Yeah.
can honestly
think
think of.
That feeling that you mentioned about like that first time you leave them hit for me doubly from this movie because I saw this movie when I first left to college.
Yeah, it came out at a
Right.
great
Right
time.
at
We
the-
were all
Yeah,
graduating.
we had all
Yeah.
got. I had just gone to my first semester. I remember seeing this movie twice. The first time it left a big impression. The second time I cried like a
Mhm.
baby, and like to the point like because like I was there with the second time I saw it, I was there with like 8 other Dodge kids, and I was like, oh my god, don't cry in front of them, don't cry in front of them, don't cry in front of them. But then yeah, they all fucking saw me cry. But yeah,
So
that
embarrassing.
yeah, it's so embarrassing. Crying in a movie and you're in film school. What's wrong with you?
You'll,
But,
never, you'll never see me cry.
I've seen you cry.
Yeah, why are you
That's not
crying?
true.
Why are you crying?
Shut up.
But yeah, it's a beautiful movie. I also on top of the mother-daughter story, I also really like the father in that story.
He's so good.
He's
Tracy
so
Letts
funny.
is
Dad.
Yeah, there's that
Tracy Letts.
Yeah.
there's that hilarious scene where he like she asks him like, are you and mom getting a divorce? And he's like, no, we can't afford it.
Yeah, that's so good.
That is
It's so
hilarious.
real though.
Yeah,
It's
and I'm
so
like,
real.
that's such a dad line. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah, this movie's so authentic. It feels so real and textured. I feel like Lady Bird, like she feels like a real person.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, this movie introduced me to Greta Gerwig, who's just did Barbie, one of the biggest movies, the
biggest
biggest,
movie of the
biggest
year.
Warner Bros.
The
movie
biggest movie.
ever.
And the biggest movie of the year.
Yeah, biggest movie of the year.
Yeah.
by
Biggest
far.
Warner Brothers movie ever.
Yeah,
Damn.
eat that, Warner Brothers.
All right.
Eat that.
No more actually like really good honorable mentions. Like just
Okay.
Okay.
shit we could just throw out. there 'cause
American Pie.
yeah.
Loose.
Yeah.
This is the second episode in a row we've talked about American Pie. You guys haven't listened to it yet, but Brandon's dad brings up American Pie for father and son films.
It's so Eugene Levy's so
Wait
good at it.
Brandon's dad, he's the one who
I-
brings it up, and I was
yes.
like, what?
And that's
dude,
them.
Sir.
Yeah.
That's
Lit-
totally how you and your dad, like I imagine, talk.
He has
Yeah.
the mustache and everything. He's literally Eugene Levy.
Yeah.
And that is like one of the best movie dads,
Mhm.
honestly.
Ethan hasn't seen them. So.
I haven't seen a one.
They
You haven't seen a single American Pie.
they
I've seen the
haven't
first one.
aged totally well, but I think their heart is in the right place.
Not according to Brandon's dad. He's like the age phenomenally. But
There's some things that age well.
Not the
some
Stifler
things.
stuff, but the rest of it, yes.
Okay, Stifler's. I still kind of love Stifler though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
He makes me laugh. All right,
anybody else got one?
I've got I have a couple.
Okay.
shout him out.
Rebel Without a Cause.
Oh yeah,
Classic.
Yeah.
This movie that Brandon showed me a while ago. Election.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we had that
That's a
from
fun one.
Here on
Alexander
our
Payne,
table.
Matthew Broderick.
One of my favorites. Superbad.
Super
Yeah.
bad. Yes.
The
Per-
Canadian's good.
Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Yep, I gotta
Yeah.
shout that one out too because I just rewatched it, or I just watched it for the first
Okay,
time.
I'm gonna
That was
rattle
a
these
great
these last few.
Mm.
17 again. Book Smart. Project X. That's for you, Justin.
Shout out
Justin.
Project X.
21 Jump Street. And
Yeah.
there's another. There's a.
That's
I'm gonna
nice.
shout out a Hong Kong movie. It's called Fight Back to School, which was filmed at my high school.
Oh, yeah?
Oh wow.
Yeah,
What?
it's a similar premise to 21 Jump Street. A cop on the verge of being fired gets taken into like a youth division
Yeah.
and gets sent in undercover to like I think it's a drug bust at a high school
Fight back
to school.
Fight back to school.
Chris,
Yeah.
if you were to say one movie that like you think resembles your high school the most, besides that one. what would
Okay,
it be?
I'm only gonna say that. I only say this because it's the only film that I've seen that that captures the British high school,
Yeah.
which is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
The first Harry Potter.
The first one. The fucking, like, the homerooms, the houses.
They do it different there in Hong Kong, man.
Magic.
Hong
Oh,
Kong.
bloody hell. Not my cup of tea. Anyways, what up?
Hunger Games? Oh, yeah.
And you got something you want to shout out? Anyone's you haven't talked about yet?
Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules. I think that's high school.
I think, well,
Ro-
Roderick's in high school.
Roderick's
Roderick's
in
in
high
high school, yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly,
that's
that
the best
movie,
one.
he's like a co-lead in that.
Christopher Nolan likes that movie.
Yeah.
Really?
It's a good
He
Yeah.
film.
said Roderick rules.
It is the best.
Have you seen the video of him saying, Roderick
He
rules?
says Roderick rules. Yeah.
He's so cool. He's so
I,
cool.
I think I only watched the first one. of those
Oh,
movies.
no.
The second one's the best.
Roderick Rules
Second,
is
yeah,
good.
Roderick rules
Yeah.
is good.
Jack and I actually really agree on that.
Roderick Rules
Cool.
is good.
All right.
Brandon, you want to shout out
Yeah,
something? Looks like you got a big list.
Loose.
Oh.
Oh, wait, we watched that in Katie's class, right?
That's
Yeah,
a
great
well,
movie.
That's
Excellent.
A nuts.
For a dark,
Shout out to Katie Walsh.
darker sort of tale.
Yeah.
21 Jump Street, obviously. That
Yeah.
was on my list. And Me and Earl and the Dying Girl.
Oh,
It's a good one.
Oh,
I remember Troy loved that movie.
I think that kind of spoke to me the most because it came out around the time that I started working at the movie theater, and that was when I was considering whether or not I should go to film school.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like a really big influence in like being able to like find that love for something in like a smaller area. I know Mesa, where I grew up, had a lot of people in it, but it felt so far removed from Hollywood and California. Like it's California is almost otherized in other states' eyes because it's like so, it's got so many landmarks and so many like things that are perfect, and then not so perfect things that are highlighted too. But I loved that, so that's my number one.
Good one. Shout out some.
Really quick shout out to a really underrated movie that nobody's seen. I think I've only shown Tori. It's called Super Dark Times.
I've heard of that.
It's on Netflix. It's a high school thriller, and the basic premise is these kids, they're dicking around one day. They live in this really desolate Pacific Northwest town, and they accidentally kill one of their friends. And it's about them like having to hide that, and they're going through angst and relationship drama and stuff. And it's just a really good movie that captures the angst of high school. And then one of the greatest of all time, the 1992 classic Encino Man, where Brendan Fraser plays a caveman who goes to high school. And I'm
such a good movie.
it is so good. It's honestly
That is an
such
awesome
a funny,
movie.
fun time. Brendan Fraser,
Pauly
Sean
Shore.
Astin, Pauly Shore, Wheezing the Juice.
That's a good movie.
So good. Great high school movie.
Very good. Okay, mine. I really like Ocean Waves. Going back to anime.
Oh my god, I forgot
Just
about
like
Ocean. I didn't think
about
about
like
that.
recalling a relationship with someone in high school.
Like from Up on Poppy Hill.
Shut up. The Virgin Suicides.
Yeah.
I think is a great
Sophia
high school
Coppola.
movie. I love Sophia.
We were
Coppola.
talking about that earlier. We were debating. It is a high school movie.
It is because it's about like those kids and like again like the relationship with their parents,
It
and
really
like
is. Yeah.
and also like what's that guy's name? What's like the guy's name? The
Oh yeah, she stitches his name
is
his
it
name in her
it's like
underwear.
Skip or something.
Yeah.
Trip.
Trip.
That's right. Okay, Trip. I was
such a
close.
good movie.
Rhymed it. That's a good one. I'm trying to think of more. I think that's all. I think we talked about all the ones that
All
I
the
like.
high school.
Yeah.
There are other high schools.
Tori, what about you?
Tori just
Yeah,
shout
Chris
out
and I
some.
forgot something very
Yeah, she
important.
pointed out to me and
very
it's
special to both
essential.
of us.
no.
What is the most me and Tori movie?
Spider-Man.
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 Oh, we didn't even talk about Spider-Man at all.
Let's not. Wait, what do you guys have?
Blockers.
Blockers.
Yeah.
I love it.
Blockers
course.
is fire.
It
Such
really
a good
is.
movie.
I would say it isn't, but it is because I think the kid. Well, no, listen,
Those are the
options. Because technically, the protagonists are the parents, but I think the kids really get a lot of time to shine in that.
It's almost the
Enough.
parents' perspective of having
high
a kid
school.
in high school.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it doesn't feel like it's out of touch with the lingo. Like it plays with that because
Like the whole like texting shit.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it's
the
so
emojis,
modern.
like that has the ability to be so cringeworthy.
Yeah.
But it's not.
It pulls it off.
They landed
it. Really
it, yeah.
Does.
So
Love
funny.
walkers.
Kissing Booth, Tall Girl.
Kissing Booth.
No.
Tall-
Anyone see Tall Girl 2? They made a Tall Girl 2.
That's
She
the only one I've
grows.
seen. She grows. Did she get taller?
She
Yeah.
grows.
Taller
You
girl.
gotta be
Wait,
kidding
are you
me.
getting-
She
she's
can't
too
catch a
tall.
break.
Now she's like 2 stories tall.
Too
Yeah.
tall, too girl.
Too
She's
tall.
she's
That's
so
what happened.
tall.
She has to get taller. You got to build the stakes.
Oh my
crazy.
god. Does she actually grow?
I don't know.
That's fine.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
Oh
I can't
my
think of
God,
any more that I
she
really want to
grows.
shout out. We can talk about Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man. I mean,
Homecoming is my favorite Spider-Man movie. Hot
which
take.
is a horrible opinion, and I respect you a
don't
little
think
less
so.
for having that, but that's okay.
think so.
Continue.
I
like-
mean, it's just that one and Amazing Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man 1.
Okay, but the second of the Tom Holland movies,
He's like
Far
he's
From Home.
studying
That's
abroad.
Like, okay, but that's like honestly a really good depiction of like a high school trip.
Also,
Did you
especially
guys-
his,
going on, like,
him and Zendaya, that worked very well. In
Yeah,
Far From Home.
I like
Say
Far
what you
From
will about
Home.
the rest of the movie.
Far From Home is actually my favorite of the Holland trilogy.
You're crazy.
Really?
Yeah, it's
That's
the one I have the most fun with.
Fascinating. It is fun.
I really like Far
Did
From
you guys
Home.
ever go on like a big trip in high school, like with your school?
Oh yeah,
Where'd you go?
Morocco.
Okay, well, fuck me. I went to Montreal. That was fun.
I've never been to Montreal.
Yeah, gotcha. Great. Anyone else?
Biggest thing I did was yearly band trips to Disneyland.
Oh,
That's crazy.
cool.
That's nuts.
They went to Six Flags, but I didn't go
Wait, why?
because I wasn't in
coaster
physics.
count? Oh,
You weren't into coasters then.
I wasn't.
you
I
should
didn't
get. You should get into
coasters
physics.
until, like,
You
20.
guys, we all knew pre-coaster Brandon.
We did.
Yeah,
I remember when he was afraid to go in the accelerator at Knott's
Yeah.
Berry Farms.
So
now
was that?
he works there.
and now he runs it himself. He owns it.
Now you are the accelerator.
I'll get into it after.
Whoa. As he speaks into the spatula. Did you go anywhere? Do anything fun in high school?
My school, we did a lot of really cool retreats. I had like a lot of really fun
What were you retreating
experiences. We did.
Battle.
I mean, like they're kind of serious topics. I can't follow.
Oh, I
that.
went to
Oh,
Long
really?
Beach.
I'm sorry.
I get it. Well, like we did.
All
one,
right, reset. What were they about? We're serious. now.
We went down to like the San Diego area, kind of near the border between Mexico and Southern California, and we did like a lot of work learning about like the immigration situation down there.
Oh,
We did like
okay.
a water drop out in the desert, so any migrants who are crossing
Whoa.
in, like we not planted, but like dropped cartons of water out
For
in
the-
like
for them to
pockets
get.
of shade. Yeah, for them to drink, and we did that, and we
That's really cool. That
there was a lot of it was a really eye-opening experience. But
Yeah.
there was a lot of stuff like that, a lot of Catholic school stuff. So mission trip, I don't want to call it a mission trip because it wasn't really like that.
You
but
were converting people.
we weren't trying to convert anybody. We weren't trying to do
Good.
that. We were just trying to educate ourselves.
That's what they
But it was
all
fun.
say.
Yeah,
It was cool.
that is cool.
That's what they all say.
Yeah. Where did Justin go?
Maybe he's finally taking his
He
He
shit.
got-
oh wait, he's taking his shit.
Yeah, he did mention that he needed to take a wet shit.
Some
Or did
people
he
live
have to
alone.
get to class?
Oh, he's late for class.
You know who was late for class? Marty McFly.
Somebody plays school bell.
Yeah. Oh, you guys hear that? The school bell is ringing. That means we have to all get to class. So thank you all so much for listening to the Stacked Podcast.
It was wonderful having.
It was
my
wonderful
friends
having
Yeah, it was
all
so
of
nice
my
having
close
everyone
friends in a circle right here, having Chris back, having Brandon back. You'll be hearing from us more often now.
Snaps for Tori for live
Snaps-
mixing this entire
Mega
episode.
snaps for
Woo!
Tori.
So
Oh
do
my
I
God.
who do I send an invoice to?
Brandon, because he makes more money than me.
on. I got rent.
So do I. But you make more money than me. So do you want to keep this podcast afloat or what?
I like that I'm not included in this conversation.
Let's get Christopher.
Why am I playing?
All right, Chris, you'll pay.
All right, friend.
He helps him pay for my Wi-Fi. And
Who's
stuff.
on
Anyways, all right, that's it for the show. Thank you all so much for listening.
You know what sound effect to play.
Yeah.